is 5 tips for an amicable divorce. Guess what number 1 is? Open communication. Encourage open and honest communication between both parties before, during, and after filing for divorce. This can help clarify each person's needs, concerns, and expectations, leading to a smoother negotiation process. Again, before, during, and after, before you ever pull the trigger and hire me or anyone, open communication. Now, if there's attorneys, that's probably not going to be what, if you guys have a contested case or you guys are not amicable, not friends, not cooperative, it's kind of ugly, it's already starting off nasty, this isn't going to happen. Will communication help? Absolutely. But if it's that way, or there's domestic violence or the threat of domestic violence or things like that, maybe open communication wouldn't be the recommendation. But keep in mind, we're talking about folks who are amicable. Even if you had attorneys, I think communicating with your spouse, if you're able to, would help. Because imagine this: you tell your attorney the letter A, I want A for my spouse. They communicate that to your spouse's attorney, and that becomes, I want A minus. And by that time that message gets to your spouse, who you may even be living with, it may be, I want B. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the message can change. How it was said can change. And so if you want to successfully negotiate your divorce, even if you have attorneys, direct communication with your spouse, I don't see why that could be a bad thing. I could see why an unscrupulous attorney wouldn't want you guys to talk, because that's more time you're telling your attorney, who's telling her attorney, who's telling her that they can bill you for. You get what I'm saying? Number 2 on tip for an amicable divorce: consider mediation or collaborative divorce, or TIM. Explore alternative dispute resolution methods such as mediation or collaboration. Collaborative divorce: these approaches involve working with a neutral third party to facilitate discussions and reach agreements outside of court, which can often lead to more amicable outcomes. So that is me. That's what I do all day long. I don't do alternative dispute resolution. I don't do mediation, but I do collaborative divorce. I am a neutral third party working for both of you, getting you through the process. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you the decisions to make. I can fill you in on the missing information. I can explain to you how spouse support works. I can explain to you your options for custody. I can explain to you your options on dividing your assets and debts and how it works with the court. But with me, whatever you want, you guys agree, you tell me. Don't worry about what you think the court's going to say or do or whatever. They're not going to get involved except to approve. Tell me in raw language, in plain English, Tim, this is what we want, the raw data. I will turn that into a settlement agreement that the court will accept. Don't worry about what the court's going to say. Where are we at? Number 3, third tip for an amicable divorce: focus on interests, not positions. Encourage both parties to focus on their underlying interests rather than their initial positions. By understanding each other's motivation and priorities, it becomes easier to find mutually beneficial solutions that meet everyone's needs. Again, it comes back to communication, and it also is coming back to best interests of both of you, and a little bit of negotiating and finding mutual and common ground, as opposed to, I want A, and but a spouse over here wants C. Maybe you guys end up on B. It's not exactly not ideal for either of you, and sometimes that's how you have a good agreement, because if are you getting everything you want, then maybe your spouse is not getting something they want, and maybe that's not fair. So if you guys feel like it's a little give and take on both ends, you probably have a fair settlement. Number 5 tip for an amicable divorce, or is this 4? Doesn't matter. Prioritize compromise. A little bit of overlap here. Emphasize the importance of compromise and flexibility throughout the divorce process. Recognize that both parties may need to make concessions in order to reach an agreement that are fair and sustainable for the long term. And I think long term is a big point of this note. I think people, you're in it, you're in the mix, you're not in the fight. Someone referred to, I'm in a battle, one of the consultations today. And then he said that they're going to reconcile. So I don't know what he meant. But it's not a battle. It shouldn't be a battle. It should be compromise. It should be focused on interest. It should be collaborative divorce. It should be open communication, all these things that help. Number 5, seek professional support. Recommend seeking support from divorce coaches, therapists, counselors who specialize in helping couples navigate the emotional and practical challenges of divorce. Having a neutral professional can provide guidance and support, reducing conflict and promoting a more amicable resolution. Now, that can come in 2 forms, or many forms, I should say. 1, you're using a neutral mediator to help you guys get through the divorce, and I don't know that they will be of a therapist mindset or a counselor mindset. In fact, maybe they don't want to be involved in that part at all. I wonder how they differentiate their role when they're mediating terms and specifics and settlement terms, and it goes into an emotional kind of roller coaster conversation, how they kind of bring people back on track. That's the part I don't do. I don't think you'd like me doing it. I don't think you'd like my method. But that's why I don't do the mediated part. But there's that, and then there's also individual therapy, as we're talking about. It doesn't be therapy, like, therapy has a that sound to it. Therapy, just talking to someone. It could be a friend. It could be down at the wine store, and you guys have a glass of wine. Maybe that's your therapy, or retail therapy. I've heard is popular